This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, December 24th, in the year 1950, the Cleveland Browns won the NFL title against the LA Rams. You'll be thinking, well, that's not big enough. What are you doing? Well, it's the matter of how this came to be. That's the big focus for today's video. Anyway, so the Cleveland Browns were a dominant team in the All-American Football Conference, coached by the legendary Paul Brown, for which the team was named after him. Cleveland just romped all over everybody in the AAFC. As I alluded to days ago when I talked about the merger between the NFL and the AAFC, NFL took some teams. San Francisco, the original Baltimore Colts, not affiliated with the Indianapolis Colts, and the Cleveland Browns were part of it. So anyway, so Cleveland knew what they had to do. They had to go to the NFL and prove themselves. Of course, everyone hated Cleveland. They gave that Cleveland easily won tournaments in an inferior league. All that. So basically, Bert Bell, who was not only the commissioner of the NFL, but was the owner of the Eagles, kind of a controversy, but then again, Bud Selig was still part owner of the Milwaukee Brewers when he was commissioner, said that, I'm going to make Cleveland and Philly the first game of the season under the lights in Philadelphia, where there are 70,000 fans, and prove that the NFL is better than the AFL. Unfortunately for Bell, he got bit as Cleveland ended up winning the game by a score of 35-10, using the passing game that they were innovated for. Now, of course, Bert Bell did do the right thing by actually going to the Cleveland dressing room after the game and shaking hands with everybody, saying that you are a great team. So at least he had the foresight to know he was doing something. Anyway, Cleveland did lose twice to the New York Giants. They had to have a playoff. In Cleveland, at Cleveland Stadium, the Browns won 8-3. So the Browns would face the Rams at home in the championship. Ironically, the Rams used to make Cleveland home because they won the 1945 NFL title as a member of the Cleveland Rams. However, this was now the LA Rams, and one of the biggest moves to California that spurred other teams to go out west. Anyway, on Christmas Eve, the Browns were in trouble against the Rams. And all that. So, anyway. The Rams scored first as Bob Waterfield got a touchdown pass to Glenn Davis. Not the basketball Glenn Davis. The Glenn Davis that was famous for being part of the Army's great backfield in the 1940s, and who also is part of the great Army teams that have done well in my NCAA second and 10 tournaments for PC. Cleveland tied the game with autograms during a touchdown pass to Deb Jones, who would later score 6 touchdowns in one game, if memory serves me right. 1955, I think. Anyway, the Rams got a touchdown from Dick Horner, touchdown around 14-7. Dante LaValle got a touchdown pass from Otto Graham, but they missed the extra point. Groza missed it. Oof. And then Otto Graham passed to Dante LaValle again for a touchdown, 20-14. The Rams would score a touchdown by Dick Horner, 21-20. Remember, there were no 2-point converts back then. The Rams would then have a fumble return, making it 28-20. So Cleveland was up against it. There were a couple of good interceptions by the defense. And with 10 minutes left, Otto Graham threw a pass to Rex Bumgarner, making it 28-27 Rams. The Rams still had time, but the defense for the Browns held, and they were close. Otto Graham seemingly had a game-ending fumble with 3 minutes left. However, the defense held, and LA had to punt. Cleveland was at their 31-yard line. So they needed to go 69 yards for a win. Yeah, laugh if you want. Plus ball. Otto Graham then scrambled the middle for 16 yards and then threw passes, especially to Deb Jones. The ball was played on the 11-yard line. Graham went to the middle of the field to set up Lou Groza's field goal, which was only 16 yards. You're thinking, hang on, how can it be 16 yards? Well, In the 1950s in the NFL, the goalposts were on the end zone line, kind of like what the CFL does. So you take away the 10 yards of the end zone. So Grozo kicked 16 yards. It would have been a 26-yard field goal if it was modern, but yeah, it was 16 yards and easily he got it. So anyway, Groza kicked with 20 seconds left. The Rams had a chance, but were picked off by Lar. And the Cleveland Browns were the champions of the NFL, 30-28, which was shocking because the Browns just got out of this quote unquote inferior league and then they won this thing. It was amazing. So anyway, it was just fantastic. The Browns would reach every NFL title game from 1950 to 1955, winning 2 more times in 54 and 55, which meant that they won 3 NFL titles in their first 6 years in the league. 1950 was basically the pinnacle of their careers and all that. And it's satisfying to see the Cleveland Browns come from a bad league, if you will, and win the title. However, things came to a head. Cleveland did what Cleveland did. Become dominant, even if it was the NFL, not the AFC, whatever it is. Unfortunately, Cleveland nowadays isn't that dominant. Wish I could dig up the corpses of the 1950 Cleveland Browns and make them part of the Cleveland Browns and win the title. But that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.